But let's get into our bold predictions for the weekend. B-Mac, I'm going to let you start. What do you got for us on tap this weekend?
Well, anytime they say go bold, you have to go bold. So for me, my bold prediction for week 3 is Kirk Cousins will outplay Pat Mahomes, and he will lead the Falcons to a victory. He's 0-1 against Pat Mahomes in head-to-head matchups. He's played fairly well against Pat Mahomes, but he hasn't been able to get that ultimate win in the winning column. But he's going to outperform Pat Mahomes easily in Sunday Night Football for Atlanta. We saw some positive things in that game-winning drive for Kirk Cousins, for the Falcons offense against the Eagles. I think that will follow him into this matchup Sunday night, where we will see 4 legit quarters of Kirk Cousins bowling and leaving Pat Mahomes in another lane.
There's bold, and then there's delusional, and I think we're towing the line here because I can see the Falcons winning for sure. I mean, it's 3.5-point dogs. They're at home. Dogs have been hot of late. This past weekend, they came and went off. But outplaying Pat Mahomes, given that Chiefs defense and what we've seen from them, and Joe Burrow played well this past weekend, but they still did a good job of really shutting down that Bengals offense for the most part. I just think matchup-wise, a lot favors Kansas City in this game. And I still think one drive of Kirk Cousins, yes, it was great down the stretch there, but his arm and his mobility is still a big question mark for me coming off from that.
It is in question. But one thing they can do, B-Mac, is make the job easier for Kirk Cousins. They can run the football. I mean, I'm going to be talking about some of the matchups in this weekend's games, but one of them is that defensive front for Kansas City. Can they sit down on this run plan for the Atlanta Falcons? And if they can do that, they will make life difficult for Kirk Cousins. But to your point, if they can have success on the ground, we could see Kirk Cousins go out there and make kind of mincemeat. I know there's a lot of guys out there in that secondary who are really good players for the Chiefs, but Kirk Cousins, a guy who knows how to find the open players, and if you've got it built into your scheme, he can get hot quick, man. He can get hot quick.
I could see B.J.
Also,
Robinson
too, don't forget about the Falcons' defense. I mean, over the last 2 weeks, they've been one of the more unheralded groups in National Football League, playing outstanding football. Did so against Pittsburgh. You really didn't get a lot of praise for Pittsburgh because, they're trying to figure things out offensively. But you look at what they did Monday night against Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jalen Hurts was not super effective. You look at Jesse Bates in the back end. I mean, Justin Simmons. You look at the pass rush. Collectively as a group, they don't have a lot of household names on their defense, but Raheem Morris is doing more with less. And I like that, and I think that will follow into this game as well. And then for Pat Mahomes against Cincinnati, it wasn't like his offense was doing video game-like numbers either. So it's a bold prediction. You guys want it bold, and I'm giving you bold.
And you know what?
But I do believe my bold prediction might become a reality.
I could see this. I could see it happening. And, sometimes this Kansas City team, they get so up for these games. A legacy game last week against Joe Burrow for Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team. Obviously, they knew what was at stake there. They had to go out and put their best foot forward. And it was still a really close game. But this kind of stinks of like a letdown week, like maybe like a trap-ish week. And I know that Atlanta's not a team you fall victim to a trap game, but if you're Kansas City, anybody below you, it could be a trap game. Depends on which version of the Chiefs gets off that bus. Is this the group that's fired up, going to be playing with their hair on fire? Because we saw Raheem Morris in the locker room after that win. He didn't even celebrate. He said, "Who's next?" And, those guys ran up there, and those kind of locker rooms, they're looking forward to every week proving themselves. And for the Chiefs, they proved themselves last week. Are they able to get up to prove themselves again against Atlanta on the road?
All right, who's your bold prediction?
My bold prediction, I'm going to go, this is a little homer. I talked to Bears a little bit. I know DJ Moore was a guy that was really frustrated, and we saw it on the broadcast on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football this past week. I think DJ Moore goes over 100 yards this week. I think him and Caleb Williams find a way. I think it is the utmost of importance to get these two guys on the same page. How do you do that? From being on the back end, when the receiver and a quarterback start a game in unison, whether it's hitch routes, quick outs, and the flat route, something quick. Get the ball in DJ Moore's hand. And it reminds me a lot of what I dealt with Brandon Marshall when I got in the league. Brandon Marshall could line up out there, and you could throw it to him at the line of scrimmage. It's going to take 2 to 3 guys to get him down. He'll get 4 yards. He'll fall forward for another 3.5. Now you're looking at 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1. I need this to be the offense that they run with Chicago. I have questions about the offensive line. I have questions about the health of that receiver room. Get the football in DJ Moore's hand early. good things will happen. Over 100 yards for Caleb Williams and DJ Moore.
I think this is bold considering the Bears aren't even averaging 100 yards per game through the air at this point. 99.0 through the air through 2 games. But last week we saw DJ Moore have to go up against Derek Stingley Jr. Followed him across the football field. This week he's going up against the Indianapolis Colts and a secondary that's already kind of been decimated by injuries with their top corner, Juju Brent's out.
The get-back game.
Could be. It could be. This is what I could see. I
heard DJ Moore talk about this. He said, football's hard. This stuff is frustrating. I'm human. I want the football in my hands. Sometimes the protection, the throw, the read dictates the success of these receivers. And, for a wide receiver, you could run the best route. You could get open. You can make the right read. You see the safety here. You bring it over here. But at the end of the day, if they don't block it up, if the quarterback doesn't see you, and if they don't make the throw, you're just going to be running down giving yourself a high five. You know what I'm saying? That's at the end of the day what you're going to be looking at. So I think they do get on the same page. It is the utmost of importance to have Caleb find his get-out-of-jail-free card. That's going to be DJ Moore this week.
And 2 things I'd like to add for this matchup for Chicago as a whole. This is a must-win. You have to win. We just saw Malik Willis outplay Anthony Richardson and lead the Green Bay Packers to a win. That puts pressure on Caleb Williams, right? Secondly, every team that Colts have played against defensively, they've been easily able to run the football against that defense. So if you're DeAndre Swift, if you're Khalil Herbert, you have to be super impactful in this ball game because every other running back, every other rushing offense, they've been overly successful against the Colts. And that could actually help lead to this bold prediction becoming a reality, Kyle, because when the running game is working, it's only a matter of time before the passing game follows suit. And that can allow Caleb Williams to get into those rhythm-like throws to establish confidence, but most importantly, establish some type of passing chemistry with his pass catchers, something we haven't been able to see in 2 weeks of play.
Yep. All right, my bold prediction. I'm going to go with the one you touched on there. Not the Malik Willis Packers, but I think the Jordan Love Packers because I think he plays this week.
Wow.
I think LaFleur is going to put him back out there. Even if they had so much success with Malik Willis in the ground game, I think he's going to play in this week. Yeah, maybe you don't get a full game plan with Jordan Love. Maybe you're trying to protect him as much as possible. But I think he plays this week, and I think the Packers win going away, traveling to the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, boy.
Be bold.
I think it's a little early for that, don't you? I mean, they stole a win against the Colts. They stole a win without Jordan Love. You got Matt LaFleur flexing his offensive muscles. I think, I don't agree with you that he's going to play. I've had the MCL before. It's a discomfort thing. He won't feel like that thing is what's the word? It's kind of unstable. The feeling is like I can't put my foot in the ground with confidence. I can't drive off this thing. But it's his left one, right? It's his left one. So he's going to be throwing into that leg. What do we know about Jordan Love? He throws off his back foot. So if there is a guy that I could see out there playing on a beat-up MCL, it's Jordan Love. He's probably going to be fading away on the throws that he does make, but I expect Matt LaFleur to have his running game in heavy order for that game. I could see Jordan Love going out there.
Yeah.
I could totally see that.
I concede also, Mike, Kyle, but I don't think it's the right thing to do. And to your point, you're rushing your franchise quarterback out there for one ball game against the Tennessee Titans. You're right. You stole a game last week, but you stole through preparation. You stole through execution. Believe in the game plan again, because you're going to Tennessee. Tennessee does a better job in rushing the opposing passer. He's going to have to be able to move. He's going to get hit. And you're playing on field turf. And Kyle, you know how it is when you're coming off an injury to your lower extremities, the last thing you want to do is be on field turf. You want to be on natural grass because grass gives. So I kind of feel like they're going to push him out there. He's the ultimate competitor, so he's not going to say, no, I'm not ready. He's probably going to try to go, but I don't think it's a smart thing to do right now either.
It's a great point about the turf. It is not forgiving. And you feel it immediately when you go out there. So what do the coaches say when you're dealing with one of these questionable things? You go out there before everybody else goes out there. You run through some of your individual period reps, and they say, how do you feel? Well, I would imagine if he was playing at Lambeau, he'd feel a lot better than if you play on that turf.
That's why it's a bold prediction.